Welcome to AMG Academy. Get ready to dive into a vibrant community where insurance professionals come together to discuss the latest in sales techniques, innovative business strategies, and the power of collaboration. Whether you're looking out for the next big trend in sales or seeking insights into strategic business growth, this is your hub. This is AMG Academy.
Welcome once again to another edition of AMG Academy. I'm Matt McClure. Thank you so much for being a part of things. Really do appreciate you joining us each and every time we put a new episode out. And we do that here on a regular basis, trying to educate you and inspire you about all things insurance and all things this wonderful industry that we find ourselves being a part of. And we've got a great episode for you today. As you can see here on our screen, if you're watching the video version of the podcast, I've got Ken Brannigan, Chief Operating Officer at Senior Healthcare Solutions, here with us. And I've also got Amber Bupp. Many of you know her as Amber Allen. Amber Bupp, her name, as you can also see there on the screen. Welcome to both of you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us, Matt.
Yeah, no problem at all. So today we're talking about strategic assistance and how that can really help business growth. I want to ask you first, actually, Amber, I'll come to you first for this. When we say, strategic assistance and how that can help business growth, what do we mean by that?
So a lot of our agents don't actually know what it is that us marketers do to help our agents grow. So of course, we're the behind the scenes with the contracting and help with commissions and things like that. But we also help with strategy. So where are the hot spots? What are the new rates? The new carriers coming, the carriers leaving, the hospital networks and things like that. So we're more than just contracting.
We do it all. It's a one-stop shop there for a lot of different things. And Ken, you are kind of our sort of example of all of this here and how this has worked so well for you over the years. Talk about where you have come from first, so we understand how you got started in this business and maybe kind of, where you've come, since you got started.
Sure. I don't mind being the case study for today. Yeah, always. So, yeah, right. And so actually, AmeriLife Marketing Group afforded me the introduction into the insurance space. I had no reason to come into insurance. I was working on cars, and in 08, 09, things took a change, and my wife began working at AmeriLife Marketing Group as a marketer, such as what Amber does now, and still, provides that level of service and all that. So I was introduced through the insurance world through a marketing, right? And so I got to see firsthand what AmeriLife Marketing Group was doing for agents. About 2 years into that, I had a change of heart in the sense of I wanted to be an agent. I wanted to go on the other side of the fence. So I entered that world with a friend and partner. And the short of that, Matt, to save everyone some time, so to speak, is that I've been in the industry since 2010 as a licensed agent. I've worked in and out of a call center space, mom and pop style family shops. So I've seen different outfits, sizes, what their needs are, because certainly the needs change for the size of the offices, right? And not every agency has the same strategy. Some are going to be more grassroots. Some are going to be more digital. Some are going to be local versus nationwide. Some will have to deal with compliance more than others. So, AmeriLife Marketing Group has all that encompassed. And so through the years of those different associations with different agencies, I've stuck my relationship with AmeriLife Marketing Group mostly for those reasons, right? I mean, it's about relationships as well. I mean, I have some great relationships at AmeriLife Marketing Group, but there's few outfits in the market that can actually encompass everything that you need, from the relationship to the security of knowing that when you reach out to someone, you're going to get an answer, knowing that they are typically on the leading edge of offering tools, products, resources, to Amber's point earlier with the hotspots, and all that is super important, whether you're getting new into the industry or whether you're a seasoned agency that needs that continued information in order to efficiently spend your money and grow. So that's probably the long-winded answer, but I've been in the industry since 2008 in some way, shape, or form, Medicare specifically, and I've enjoyed most every minute of it.
We're lucky to have you.
Seems like it. Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely are lucky to have you be part of this space and part of the show today as well, talking about all of this because, I mean, a lot of people might be listening or watching who find themselves in a similar position to where you were back in 08, 09. Because a lot of things changed for a lot of people during that time frame. I feel like now, of course, after, like post-COVID world and all of that, people are feeling a lot of change in our lives as well. So it's kind of maybe a similar time period at least in that way. What would you say were some of the early challenges that you faced coming into this business and into this space, and how did AmeriLife Marketing Group really sort of help you out with that those struggles in that partnership?
Sure. So we'll just start with the basics. I mean, first you got to have the contracts. So, and Amber said, well, we don't just offer contracts. Well, contracts is a pretty big deal. You can't just go to the carrier and get a direct contract unless you've already have proven history with a ton of production. So you need a middleman, so to speak, like an AmeriLife Marketing Group, to get you that contract. And that's where the relationships come in, because there's a lot of outfits that offer contracts, and that's going to be maybe about it. And maybe they offer something beyond that, but very little. So contracts is a big deal. And then, of course, let's be real too. Revenue, like what is my comp level at? And the AmeriLife Marketing Group, they don't just hand out levels per se. You do need to earn your way up, but they have a lot of flexibility and support that can help get you there a little bit quicker in that sense. So challenges, let's just get contracts, right? Number two, we've got to have a system in place, a la a CRM. Most agents getting started don't have a CRM. They'll work out of an Excel file. To the day that never still seems like it still happens today with new agents when we talk to them. I'm like,
yes, it does.
What are you doing? I mean, we're in 2024. I mean, we're back. I can't even believe I'm still hearing Excel files, but hey, to each their own, and it's better than nothing. Like at least you're tracking something. But AmeriLife offers a CRM. AmeriLife offers quoting tools. That's huge, right? So if you're in the Medicare world, I'm going to speak more to the Medicare world. That's what I'm familiar with, Matt, for your viewers. So in the Medicare world, we have those supplement plans and those advantage plans with several carriers, 20, 30 plus carriers, depending on where you're at. And to have an all-in-one tool like Sunfire, right? Or like CSG that AmeriLife offers through the Agent X platform. Those are all great tools that an agent needs to take advantage of. You guys offer Medicare Learning. I think it's the Medicare Learning Center through Agent X as well. That is a step-by-step training that we've put all our employees through, agents or not, because it is just that easy, simple, and beneficial for whoever's going through the course. It's trackable learning, so you can see what course the person is at. It has test scores at the end, and that's all super beneficial for management to see the progress of their employees, where they're at, and get a good gauge on what we need to do next.
And it's free.
And it's free.
Right.
I mean, it's all complimentary stuff. And we're not paying for any of this stuff. If you try to do this on your own, right, and go buy a Sunfire seat, I don't even know what the going price is nowadays. It was $20,000 to $30,000 back when I was searching. So, and higher now, right, Amber? Yeah. For people that aren't watching, she had her thumb up going way up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Even higher than that. And so that's just crazy to think that an individual agent trying to get started, to your question, Matt, like, who has 20, 30,000 to go pay for a quoting platform seat? As great as that is, AmeriLife Marketing Group offers that to their agents. So I could go on, but those are, I mean, when we talk about getting started, those are all very real challenges and or considerations that an agent needs to take when signing on with an FMO. I mean, those are all tools and resources that are going to help them become efficient, help them become a better salesperson.
Yeah. And Amber, that really does highlight, I think, the need for all of this help, because it's you take all of that into account that Ken just mentioned. It's a lot. Like there's a lot that goes into just the day-to-day operation of an agency. Then whether you are solo agent, whether you're a small agency, whatever might be the case, you need help with all of those things, and all of those resources really do come in handy, right?
Yeah. And one thing, I'm very grateful for everything that Ken has already mentioned, but we also have a compliance team here. And there are a lot of changes that are happening in 2024, 2025 with the CMS regulations. We have people, we have a whole team dedicated to make sure that all of our agents are staying compliant. And the tools that we are offering our agents are compliant before we even offer them. So they go through the back studies, they make sure everything is up to date, they make sure we're following all the rules, because we want our agents to be successful. So we're here to help them grow a business. I know a lot of people think of us as a FMO or IMO or any acronym you want to think of, but I really like to just tell people that we're a distribution agency. I am the liaison between the carriers and the agents and the agencies. In case you'd like to build one, we're here to help. So FMO is kind of intimidating to some people, and people have had bad experiences. I'm not here for a bad experience. I'm here to help you. So I really like to look at it that way. And I'm very grateful for everything that Ken actually does with his agents. You know, like going through the Medicare 101, I can talk to people till I'm blue in the face and they haven't done that yet. So we have tools.
It's a simple thing. And I love how you say distribution center, because you're right, not to go down too far the hole, but FMO and IMO are just terms that are just so, I was just talking about with someone recently, they're so interchangeable nowadays. And I don't even know if I like it all. And then CMS goes and throws the wrench, like you said in there. Distribution center, the liaison, Amber, you do an awesome job at that. You know, Milan Fedorchuk is my marketer. If he's not available, I like to go to you. But we talk about relationships. You guys are some of the best over there. I mean, I'll stop there too. But liaison, I love that. That relationship is what made me think of that. Anyway,
I was going to say, I'm sure Amber doesn't mind. You could keep going with it.
We got to save a little bit more for later.
Right, there you go. We still got time, plenty of time. But no, I mean, and talk about too, obviously without getting too much into the weeds and running afoul of any, issues here, but you brought up Amber, the CMS and all of the different changes. Ken, what does it mean to have, because we went through, I think, what was it, just this past year before, a ton of changes with CMS, right? Oh, yeah. Now there's this another, regulatory change that is, in some ways a lot less negative than a lot of people in the IMO, FMO space, to use those acronyms, thought that it might be, but there's still a bunch of changes. So having a resource like AMG to really already go in and navigate so that work is done, that you don't have to, as an individual agent or anybody who is downline from the top there, you don't have to go in and basically relearn how to walk a little bit.
No, not at all. And I'm a nerd, so I'm gonna read into that kind of stuff anyways. But yeah, AmeriLife makes it very simple. I love the little fact sheets they'll send out, right? Because really there's no one reading 1,000+ pages, right? And so they do a great job at breaking down the fact sheet there.
Except for maybe Ken Brannigan, but that's about it.
And so listen,
the nerds of Medicare.
there's a group of us, right? But listen, I mean, those are the great things that make it simple. And for agents, they can't overlook those emails. They've got to make sure that they're flagging that, taking the time to read it and understand how it impacts them or not. AmeriLife has done a great job at staying in front of the compliance with, a big deal is the leads, right? Like being able to buy third-party leads. That's on everyone's radar this year. And then of course, commissions, we won't get into that, but AmeriLife has done a great job to ensure that their agents in the downline still have access to the leads that they've been able to invest in, right? Because that was a big scare. How are we going to be able to continue to get leads to our producing agents when CMS is telling us that we can't share, data and how it's going to be done? And so they've done a phenomenal job at making sure that the software and development that they have in place is in compliance with CMS to ensure that everyone is still in a good spot for that. Yeah, I think, I don't know, Amber, if it's the, partnered with your Medicare side of things or whomever, however that happens, but you guys have been doing an awesome job with that. And then separate from the CMS, Matt, too, I mean, they make it easy God forbid something come up. We do a decent amount of production, and every now and then, you can't make everyone happy. We're going to get a consumer complaint. It happens. Thankfully, all of ours are unfounded. It's a beautiful thing to say for our agency. It truly is. But in the few times that we've had a complaint come in from a carrier, I'll reach right out to the AMG. Just say, hey guys, can you take a look at this? And can you help me sort of like walk through this for a minute, right? And that's the compliance side that not every liaison, FMO, whatever we're going to call this, how everyone recognizes it, right? That's not something everyone offers. It's not. And then if you have an upline that doesn't offer that and you try to call and say, hey, what should I do? They're going to tell you, well, I don't know. We'll call it. So tons of resources, tons of help. And I think a lot of it sometimes gets overlooked. That's what, and I'm just telling you from my experience in the industry as we, in all the years and people we talk with in the groups, I think there's a lot of things that AmeriLife Marketing Group offers that unfortunately have been overlooked for quite some time.
Right. And a ton of value there as a result. I mean, talk about as well, Ken, if you don't mind, from a consumer complaint standpoint, a compliance standpoint, all of those things, but also from a revenue standpoint and just, an ease of operating on a day-to-day basis and doing so efficiently.
We don't have to worry about much of commissions. I mean, we tracked our commissions for the longest time. And listen, I might say an unpopular thing here, but we stopped tracking our commissions some time ago. We did. We found out, listen, I know there's good and bad to it, so I know it's the unpopular thing, but we found out that less than 1% of the commissions that we were receiving had a discrepancy in them, right? In some way, shape, or form. And AmeriLife has a commission tracker through their CRM, right, with Agent X, where most of our production lies. Right now, we have production outside of the third-party administration that AmeriLife offers there, so not all the commissions are in there. But again, that's another tool that makes it simple for us to be able to log into one spot, see multiple commission statements from multiple carriers. Makes it easy.
You don't have to wait on me. You can go in and physically do it yourself.
No, and that puts a lot of stress at ease, right? And then also, again, from a planning standpoint, helps us, I don't have to wait necessarily for my balance sheet or my P&L at the end of the month from the accountant, right? I can sort of come see this, check this, and start to plan out a little bit further if I need to make any kind of adjustments on the marketing side.
Yeah.
And I don't know if now's a good time, Matt, or maybe I'm starting to get ahead, but, from a revenue standpoint, AmeriLife has been I've been super grateful for the co-op with AmeriLife Marketing Group, right? Not every liaison, FMO, IMO, right? They don't all offer that. That's another thing in the CMS regs right now that's changing, or has been talked about changing. And I know AmeriLife is doing everything they can. AMG is going to do everything they can to make sure that they're still continuing to try to flow some dollars to their agents in some way, shape, or form, right? And we've never had to really battle for that per se. It's been so easy and it's been so beneficial to the growth of the agency, right? When you can get on that co-op, help with marketing, share numbers, super, super helpful.
Yeah.
Follow the rules and turn in receipts.
And
well, yeah. I mean, come on. Well, and Amber, I mean, talk about that too, because it really, the goal, I feel like, of everything that AMG does and that AmeriLife does, I feel like as a whole organization as well, is just try to make life easier on the agent level so that you can, as an agent, no matter which part of this space you fall under, if you're a Medicare agent, if you're a life health agent, if you're an advisor as well, anybody who falls under any of those different categories can just focus on the job and on serving their clients on a day-to-day basis.
Right. Let me help you.
The help is here.
Yes. We have pretty much a team to help us do anything. If I don't know the answer, I know where to find it. We have had people in the industry that have been here for 30, 40 years at this point. You know what I mean? Doesn't necessarily have to be focused solely on Medicare because we have all lines of the products, life, health, annuities. We've expanded now. But we definitely have the support system behind us. I've been here 7 years, and part of the reason why I got into this business is because there is constant growth. There's somewhere to go. There's something to learn, and something is always moving. So you can't really say that about every industry. So I'm super excited, very happy to be part of this. And kind of like Ken, I don't think anybody really intentionally starts in insurance. It just kind of falls in your lap, you know?
It seems like unless they have a mom or dad, like I hear a lot of stories like my dad
Right.
or mom had an insurance shop, so they like, right? But other than that, it's like,
Then they know. Then they know.
It's very true. It's very like keeping it all in the family a lot of the times. But yeah, I think if you're outside of that, you're 100% right, Amber. You sort of just fall into the space. I never saw myself working in this space either. And that, now I've got a life and health license, Series 65 license. It's just like, okay, once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
Oh, for life.
Gotcha. Yeah.
100%. Well, and to go back to something that you said a few minutes ago, Ken, I feel like I just want to revisit this momentarily. You talked about consumer complaints being kind of one thing that, when they do come up on the odd occasion, it's something that gets handled. You're not, found at fault, obviously, for those, as you mentioned. But I imagine that's one, kind of struggle is as sort of minute as it might be that you have overcome with the help of AMG. Any others that kind of come to mind, any struggles along the way, maybe even growing pains, that kind of thing that AMG has really helped you out with?
I mean, they may sound little, but again, it's these little things that, anytime we don't have to call the carrier is better. If I can call AMG, then that's a win in itself, because we all know that when you call the carriers, it's a line to wait, right? And so unless you have an admin who is still, guess what? Even if you have an admin, you're paying them to sit on the phone now for 10, 15 minutes. Hopefully you've relayed the message clearly enough so that they can relay it, right? And hopefully after all those hopes, you get someone competent at the carrier who is understanding what needs to be done, okay? Now, that's outside of AEP, Matt. During AEP, when carriers hire temp help because of the volume, that gets even worse. So, having that relationship, I can't say it enough. It's a relationship business, and AMG, we've got some great relationships there, and being able to call them, whether it be for a pending app, right? Like, hey, why has this been, I haven't had to do that in a while, but the point is like, hey, why is this, what's going on here? This isn't normal. We talked about how commissions even, right, is really good. But there's a time it's going to happen where, hey, man, I saw this fall off. Why is the commission not where it was? Or, hey, I thought I was going to get more co-op than this. So all the little things, that you have that touch point with them. Sometimes the CRM tools aren't working like we want them to, when we want them to. Sometimes there's going to be...
Life happens.
Life happens, man. And guess what? Like, Sunfire is a great example, and Sunfire is a great tool. So this is not a knock on Sunfire. They make enhancements continuously. And so when you do those enhancements and you add products and you add new benefits, there's going to be a hiccup. It happens with data feeds, okay? The great thing about AmeriLife and the communication, I don't have to know someone at Sunfire. I have to know someone at AmeriLife. I don't have to know someone at Aetna or Mutual, I shouldn't be name dropping, at any carrier, right? I only have to know someone at AmeriLife. And I send a quick email or a call if it's that urgent. And it's a universal spot for me to feel good to make sure that I can start here with any problem or feedback that I have. And 99.9% out of the time, it's handled. And that's as simple as I can put it. Matt, we could go into a lot of little things that probably, again, agents take for granted. The easiest way to sum it up is that what sets AMG apart from most any other distribution center, FMO, IMO, whatever, we're going to keep calling them all. Okay, we'll cover it. Right? Is that they encompass it all. We've been saying it the entire show. When you have a centralized spot where you can get your tools, resources, commissions in that relationship, where you feel confident that I can call this one or two people to get the answer that I need, or to make sure that I'm being heard on the feedback on the platforms, right? That's important. Am I being heard? And, the people over at AMG that we deal with never make me feel otherwise.
And that's awesome. And that is really what it is all about. I mean, Amber, that's really what you love to hear, I'm sure, right?
Yes. Tell me more.
Yeah. Exactly. I thought that we'll pepper it in throughout it. Yeah.
I know.
I'm just gonna keep Ken's mic open and you can just go, That's really all we need.
Yeah.
I mean, what did I do? I'm like, hey, Ken, what did I do?
Yeah, not a paid promo for anyone listening. I mean, this is just real talk from a seasoned individual who's been in the business since '08, has seen it from multiple angles, from different size agencies, has been behind different distribution centers' doors, and have seen firsthand from other agencies that don't have contracts through AmeriLife. And that's not to say everyone else is bad. That's not what I'm saying either. But there are very few that offer what AmeriLife does in that sense. And again, I just think it gets a lot of overlooked. Yeah. But there's a ton of value with AMG. And I'll say this, and Matt, maybe we can segue into this. I don't know if this fits in anywhere, but because I'm saying, oh, AmeriLife, everyone's like, oh, yeah, he's definitely paid promotion. No, listen. If I have one critique for AmeriLife and what would set them even different is that they're just slow in social media, in my opinion. They were slow to the game in social media. They, if they were so flash and dash like some other agencies are, other distribution centers, no one would be talking about those other people. All you would know is AmeriLife. But their focus wasn't there, and that's not for a bad reason. I don't need to be flash and dash. I don't need to be all on social media. I don't need to be on the internet. We're spending our time and resources down here in the trenches with the agents and knowing what needs to be priority. But I keep saying, you've heard me say overlooked a few times. I think that's the only reason why some of those values, like some of those value props that they offer, are overlooked, because they're not out there like putting out videos with tons of production and why you should do this. It's like word of mouth almost, I feel like. Like AmeriLife was like old school word of mouth. Like you know them through word of mouth, not because you went and Googled them and they were the first up on there with a nice YouTube video with millions of views.
Right.
Yeah, I think you kind of said it earlier when you're talking about, it's like a family industry. That's kind of like what AmeriLife Marketing Group is. It's just everybody here works. I mean, we have over 40 marketers just on AmeriLife Marketing Group. Obviously, AmeriLife is a lot bigger than that. But we're kind of like family here. We do a lot of things together, and it's been amazing to watch Ken grow, like his family, his business, everything. Like they're thriving, and that's like one of the best parts of the job, is to see that we are actually making a difference. We are helping people. So I just wanted to make sure I touched base on that before we get out of here.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome, because it's, as I sort of said earlier, it's like, you do your job so that the agents can then focus on doing their job, which is making a difference in their clients' lives. And I guess by just default, you at AMG and all of our AmeriLife family really are able to make a difference in the lives of people like Ken and others who are working at that agent level, that agency level, and really just make a difference there so that they can have better lives and thrive as well. So it really is kind of a symbiotic relationship there, I guess.
Yes, for sure.
It's really cool too. I mean, like, to finish out that point there, it's really cool too that, Amber and a couple of the other people that we have great relationships with, we're all local, right? And so we see each other out in Dunedin and Palm Harbor, and our kids, like, we go to we see each other out, we're hanging out at the park. It's just, that adds to that relationship. I don't know if I have that same relationship if there's another entity, in Texas or, Nebraska or wherever it may be, right? And so that just definitely adds a little bit of icing on the cake there.
Yeah, there we go. The cherry on top, definitely.
For
Well,
sure.
Anything else that you, either of you, wanted to add? I'll give you both a chance to kind of chime in here. Anything that we haven't covered that may have escaped our collective minds here?
Amber,
We're working on social media. I'm trying. It's on my whiteboard wall. I need to cross it off.
Yes.
And as a matter of, and I'll go ahead and put in a plug here as well, just for any downlines and folks on the agency level. Also, we do have a great team now at Your Digital Lab. They've been around for over a year. That provides wonderful marketing support on the social media side. And as they get, they're in growth mode now after having been around for about a year. And so really, really want folks to explore that, especially on, obviously the agent and agency level, to really get those resources, because they are out there now. And that's a space that's growing.
Oh, man. Matt, go ahead, Amber. Yeah. No, I'm glad Matt brought that up. I didn't have that on my list really to discuss today. We've been fortunate. We're well established, we feel like, in that arena. However, shout out to Joe Barker. I had the pleasure of working with Joe Barker personally when I was at AmeriLife. and for several years. She does fantastic work. I'm sure the team that she is leading the way there does fantastic work. And shame on me for not even mentioning it, though, because when we talk about tools and resources, like how many, distribution centers are offering that kind of deal, right? Like an independent agent now has access to a designer, graphic. I put it in Joe's ear just the other week or two before she went to Medicare. I was like, hey, I need to record some videos. Let me use your studio over there, right? She's like, well, we haven't really thought about that. I'm like, well, for local agents who need a studio real quick, right? And so she's just always, willing to still open up the messages, collaborate in that sense. But man, talk about a resource that agents now have access to that not every distribution center has. It's either that or you have to go out and try to find someone in another country. Let's be real. Who's, I don't. So now it's another resource for AmeriLife Marketing Group. Check that box. Another flower in the hat. I'm glad you brought that up, Matt, because people definitely know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. They deserve a lot of kudos for the work that they do each and every day. And you're right about Joe. Joe is an absolute genius when it comes to social media marketing and digital marketing in general. So absolutely love working with her. She was actually I traveled with her last week. We were talking just before we started recording the show today. I traveled with her last week. And one of my many trips recently was with Joe out to Dallas. She spoke at NABIP, Texas for their annual conference. And just really did a bang up job. Everybody, we got so many people coming to the YDL booth after her talk. It was pretty awesome to see. Amber, anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem at all. It's my pleasure to do this. Absolutely. And Ken, you are awesome, sir. I appreciate your time today as well. And your passion for this industry and for sharing your knowledge and experience with others. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, likewise, thank you for having me. If you ever need something to talk Medicare nerd on, I'm the guy now. So, yeah, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate what you're doing. I hope you guys have a fantastic day.
Thanks, you too. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for this edition of AMG Academy. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of AMG Academy. For more information on any of today's topics or to contact us, visit AmeriLifeMarketingGroup.com.